She's a vice president and Bank Secrecy Act officer at Ocean First Bank in New Jersey. I don't know what that means, but it sounds very high level thing.
Looks like I'll explain away.
Yes. Are you a spy? Are you?
So we have the spy museum.
Yeah. And we got
Julie.
Julie.
I never went. I will probably go.
But what she does is she's responsible for creating fraud prevention programs. And what really impressed is that she's an anti-money laundering specialist and a certified fraud examiner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's send her to Macedonian.
So,
You'll come in contact with any of the Macedonian businesses.
Yeah, exactly.
like the New Jersey trash collectors.
Maybe Julie might go.
It would be a compliment.
Y'all are live, by the way.
You must have money to wash the machine.
Yeah, you have to wash, the monies in the washer. You have to dry them.
Of course. There's no dryer. So you
Money laundering.
Yep.
Is that how you disguise what you actually do?
Never enough laundry, I guess.
Two kids, right? Two kids. That's how you explain to them.
No, I tell them that I work very closely. It's kind of like I'm a investigator spy, but in banking.
Oh.
And my daughter, she thinks it's like the coolest thing. She's like, "Oh, mommy, maybe I want to be like you when I grow up." I'm like, "No, you don't."
It's a white collar crime specialist. All right.
So, all right, thanks. Thank you so much, Natasha, for the introduction. Thank you for the invitation. Like I mentioned, yesterday, I'm very grateful to be in this room with all of you, strong women. And so, just a little background, on me and kind of how I came to becoming a BSA officer. So, I did graduate from Berkeley College in New York City with a degree in international business. Back then, I really wanted to kind of start my own cafe, have a chain. One day. So I needed an internship for college. I was working as a teller for a very small community bank in New Jersey, and I asked my HR department, "Hey, is there any way that I could still work for the bank, have my internship? Like, is there something that you have available back office?" And they gave me 3 different options. So marketing, human resources, and in compliance. So I had an interview with all 3 different departments, and I was just so fascinated by the whole compliance aspect on the regulations and spying into people's accounts and what kind of transactions they're doing, and if they're money laundering or are they committing fraud. So that's kind of how I started my career. I was a intern for a year, and then I had various roles in different financial institutions within New Jersey and in New York, but I definitely started at the bottom, and then I worked my way up. I did have to, kind of hop from one institution to another in order to just gain more perspective and how other banks are, how their processes are different from other banks. We all follow these regulations, from the government, but it was just very fascinating to me that every bank that I went to, it was our programs were very different. And when I went into a management role, it was very fulfilling to me, and it kind of became like a coaching opportunity for me to train my staff, and I felt like I was doing a very good job at it, getting positive feedback, and if they criticism, you know, in a positive light. And, you know, it was, of course, I wasn't like born with the skill. I oftentimes go to Google. Now it's, you know, more easier. I find with Chat GPT. You know, my daughter asked me for help for like a school assignment. And you know what, Sophie, I don't have that much time to like write a whole, you know, speech for you, like from scratch. So I'm like, okay, so let me look into it, and then I come back and I go into ChatGPT. Hey, can you can you prepare a speech for a 6th grader that is running for student body government, like, you know, vice president? And ChatGPT delivered. It was very long, and then I said, "Well, give me a speech for like 1 minute, a 1 minute, right, a 1 minute pitch." And I was just so fascinated. I was like, "Wow, this is incredible." So I go to Sophie. And I'm like, "So here's your speech." She's like, "I mean, how did you do it?" I'm like, I have my personal assistant. So, you know, what I do in my field, okay, so like I lead a team of like 19, 20 full-time employees, and sorry. So I lead a team of, you know, 20 FTEs. I have managers. I also have senior analysts and analysts on the team. So, you know, I'm the type of leader that I always want to, you know, help others. Zana, she mentioned yesterday having that empathetic and leads to high performing teams. So that's exactly, you know, my situation is that I do lead, you know, by example. I lead with empathy, with compassion, and my team is definitely high performers. The tasks that are kind of, you know, thrown at them, like they're managing basically like the operations for the entire bank. Working in our transaction monitoring system, looking for suspicious activity, and it's a very intense job. But, you know, I have an open door policy. They always, you know, come to me, they ask me questions, you know, they ask for help. If it's a situation where I'm not able to help them, you know, I always let them know, hey, I'm going to get back to you. I don't have an answer for you now, but I promise I'll get back to you in, you know, X amount of like days.
ChatGPT helps.
Yeah, I try not to go to ChatGPT. But if I do need to, just kind of gain some like ideas, hey, you know, it's fine. But they say that you should not trust ChatGPT, like, and it's 100% right. It's not accurate all the time. So I tend to, if I have to, I always then follow up. I'll go to Google, I'll take a look at our regulations, and do like a little bit more research before I come to, you know, that kind of conclusion. But, you know, along the way, and what leads me to my topic today is how to build your own personal board of directors. Whether it's if you want to call it board of directors, advisors, mentors. So along the way, along my path, I had a very diverse group of my board of directors in order for me to come to this kind of, you know, position. And it took time. I've been in BSA and, you know, the fraud space for 14 years. And, you know, oftentimes if I have something challenging, if, you know, I have a question, need any help, or I'm doing some kind of presentation, or if my, boss gives me a assignment saying, hey, you need to implement a brand new system for the bank. What I do is I tend to go to my board of directors, right, my advisors, and I'll say, hey, do you have any experience with this system? And then, they'll obviously let me know, or maybe point me towards, the right direction. So I always find like my board of directors are like kind of constantly changing. But one board of director that always stays is my brother, of course. You always want to have a diverse kind of group of advisors that are going to guide you throughout your career. And so I do have a activity. I'm gonna pass out some papers here, and there you go. These out.
You can deliver to the rooms if you want.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, we just passed it out. So, in order to advance, in your career, it is very crucial to have, obviously, your own personal board of directors. So, identifying a group of 3 to 5 individuals is the best. It's going to help you master your skill set. And it's your board of directors. They're going to be kind of like your accountability coaches, right? If there's a project that you're working on, or if you need help with something, you go to your mentor. You ask them for guidance. You set up a plan for yourself. If there's if you want to master, perhaps, public speaking, right? Well, how are you going to master public speaking? It's not just by reading a book, it's actually taking action, right? So you could identify that skill that you want to become a master in, and you're going to probably take a leadership class, or you'll find an event, right? Like what I'm doing today, I found an event, and I'm doing like a public speaking event, right? So this is kind of part of your like professional development plan, trying to identify those skills that you want to become a master in. And even if you don't, it's fine. It really does take time. And so I want to kind of point you towards this sheet right here. So this is a activity sheet, and you can fill it out, and we could go over the results. But I do want to go around the room in a couple of minutes. So if you could take a look at the activity sheet, try to identify certain skills that you want to work on, and let's go around the room and kind of go over, well, why is it